This is the 26th video in a series that studies the 101 laws of the Success Mindset Code. In this video, we will explore the 26th law, the Law of Instant Gratification. As we grow older and our financial challenges become more complex, one of the biggest traps we face is the desire for results now, immediately, without delay. This pressure is fueled by a fast-paced society that promises immediate rewards with minimal effort. But the law of instant gratification reminds us that the true reward is not just in the final result, but in the journey that shapes who we become along the way. When it comes to prosperity in the mature phase of life, the ability to appreciate the process is one of the most powerful mindset shifts we can cultivate. Imagine that you are climbing a mountain step by step. Every movement is tiring, slow, and sometimes painful. You might be tempted to stare only at the peak, imagining how incredible it will feel to reach the top. But if you fix your attention only on the destination, you will miss the beauty of the landscapes, the fresh air, the conversations along the way, and most importantly, the inner transformation happening inside you. The peak is a single moment. The path is a collection of meaningful experiences. The law of instant gratification teaches that if you can find pleasure in the path, not just in the outcome, you will grow stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled. Let's take the real example of Henry. He dreamed of opening his own restaurant. His fixation was the final result, the grand opening, the full tables, the financial success. But as he slowly built his business, something changed. When he started appreciating the daily learning, the connections with his team, and the small victories, he realized that the journey itself was deeply rewarding. Those small wins gave him energy, motivation, and resilience. They sharpened his skills and strengthened his character. When he tasted the joy of the process, success began to flow more naturally. Henry learned that the top of the mountain comes to those who walk with presence and gratitude. On the other hand, we have Claire. She wanted immediate results. Every time she didn't see fast progress, frustration exploded. She felt blocked, discouraged, and disconnected from the purpose of her work. Because she never learned to enjoy the process, the final reward always seemed distant and disappointing. She believed that joy would come only after the finish line, but by ignoring the path, she missed growth opportunities that would have made her stronger, smarter, and more resilient. Her journey felt empty because she refused to see value in the steps she was taking. The law of instant gratification highlights that without presence, gratitude, and awareness, success loses meaning. Now, if you are currently facing financial challenges in a mature stage of life, this law speaks directly to you. One of the most powerful insights you can adopt right now is to embrace the process. Building financial stability requires patience, discipline, strategic action, and the willingness to grow slowly. It may feel frustrating to see progress happening one piece at a time, but that slow growth is what creates the foundation of long-term financial prosperity. Wealth accumulated overnight disappears overnight. Wealth built through learning becomes part of who you are. Many people sabotage their financial evolution because they cannot tolerate the waiting period. They want immediate relief, immediate comfort, and immediate validation. They jump from idea to idea without persistence, abandon projects when the novelty fades, or seek shortcuts that promise magical results. But shortcuts come with a hidden fee. They rob you of growth. The journey teaches emotional intelligence, discipline, patience, negotiation, planning, and resilience. Those are the invisible skills that sustain wealth. When you embrace the process, something extraordinary happens. The journey becomes pleasurable. Every small step becomes a celebration. When you learn new financial habits, even if they feel uncomfortable at first, you recognize the seed of transformation. When you pay off a small debt, you celebrate. When you invest a small amount consistently, you celebrate. When you learn to negotiate better, you celebrate. Each of these small achievements builds confidence. Confidence builds identity. Identity builds destiny. The law of instant gratification also teaches that impatience is expensive. People who seek rewards too quickly pay more, stress more, and grow less. They compare themselves to others, feeling behind. But when you practice patience, you stop comparing your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20. You recognize that every journey is unique, and you learn to honor your pace. Another important point: the process shapes character. When you focus only on the result, you become dependent on external validation. But when you focus on the journey, you become proud of who you are becoming. That identity shift is the foundation of a new financial life and maturity. You start valuing knowledge, habits, consistency, and emotional balance. To cultivate gratification during the journey, it is essential to develop appreciation for growth. Ask yourself often, what am I learning right now? How is this challenge shaping me? What new ability is emerging from this difficulty? When you ask better questions, you find better answers. Gratitude becomes your fuel. Every triumph, every mistake, and every challenge becomes valuable. You stop seeing obstacles as interruptions and begin seeing them as necessary training. Another secret of this law is celebrating small victories. Many people celebrate only when the big result arrives. But the big result is just the accumulation of small steps. When you recognize each achievement, no matter how small, you create momentum. That emotional momentum prevents discouragement and keeps your mind aligned with prosperity. One of the most common frustrations in the mature phase of life is the feeling of delay. You may believe you should have achieved more by now, but regret is the poison of progress. Instead of asking, "Why didn't I start earlier?" ask, "What can I do now to accelerate my growth?" When you stop fighting the past and embrace the present, life opens doors. The journey becomes meaningful again. When you practice the law of instant gratification correctly, you are not rejecting the desire for rewards. You are shifting the location of your joy. You stop placing all happiness at the end and begin distributing happiness throughout the journey. That is what makes life richer, fuller, and more sustainable. Success becomes a continuous state, not a distant moment. If you are rebuilding your financial life, remember this: prosperity is not a single destination. It is a lifestyle. It is developed through emotional maturity, self-knowledge, consistency, patience, and the courage to stay on the path even when the results are not immediate. Don't rush through your transformation. Every step is teaching you something essential. Slow success builds deep roots. Fast success builds fragile structures. So today, choose presence, choose gratitude, choose appreciation for the process. Your financial life will expand not only because you reach your goals, but because of who you become while walking toward them. And when you enjoy the journey, success stops running away from you and starts moving toward you. Like what you saw? Then don't forget to like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe with the bell on so you won't miss any of the upcoming videos. And there's more. Your financial journey doesn't end here. Check out the link below in the first pinned comment and keep moving forward.